Hello everyone, my name is Yukari Iguchi. I am going to present what it is like to study hospitality management programs online at University of Derby. So to start with, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Yukari Iguchi. I am academic lead in hospitality and business at University of Derby. I am originally from Japan, but also lived briefly in the United States and Switzerland before I came to the UK. Professionally, I always worked in the hospitality organizations and before I became academic in this subject area. And I have passion on understanding and developing people, especially about the people from different cultural background. So my research areas since I became academic have been internationalization of higher education, which means how we can help people from different educational backgrounds being successful in the UK university context, and managing cultural diversity, which is about how we can keep everyone happy and then use their strengths that could be quite diverse depending on the cultural or any other background. And then hospitality workforce skills development, especially through education and training context. And I am delivering most of the hospitality programs with my colleague, you can see here, Pratik. Pratik is a lecturer in hospitality business and leisure, and he teaches both undergraduate and postgraduate levels within hospitality as well as business programs. He is a member of Institute of Hospitality and Chartered Management Institute. He's also fellow of the Higher Education Academy. And then his research interests are quite diverse in a way, but mainly across human resource, something about people, motivation, staff turnover, and then operations, as well as stress at workplace and mental health challenge within the hospitality industry. And in addition to myself and Pratik, we also have a number of academic staff, especially on those modules we share with the business programs. But I can assure you, all of us are quite experienced in both hospitality and business education. So you can be assured and the quality of experience you will have from us while you are learning. So just to give you an overview of hospitality programs at University of Derby, online environment really. So hospitality courses available for part-time online study. We also offer some full-time program, but they are only on campus in Derby. Teaching team, as I explained, are all experienced in hospitality and business education. And teaching assessment reflects real life practice because we know most or all the students actually are more professionally oriented than academic, and then at the end of the day most of you will be studying this program to enhance your career. So we would like to set all your learnings as well as the assessment kind of contents as well as methods in more practical context. Through the assessment of the coursework. So we don't do any exam, but it's only about the coursework in different forms, which I'm going to explain later. And we also have really close links with the Institute of Hospitality, which is the industry body, and Confederation for Tourism and Hospitality, which is another awarding body who does a range of professional as well as academic diploma programs. So just moving on to program overview. We do have a program at each level, or actually two programs in fact at level 6. So we are starting from level 4, which isn't actually our own qualification. This is CTH qualification, which is one of our partner, Confederation of Tourism and Hospitality. So this is out of scope of this recorded webinar, so it's just why it's grayed out. And as the university qualifications, you can start from level 5, but also you can start with CTH Diploma in Advanced Hospitality Management, which is level 4 and more professionally oriented. Once you complete this program, you can progress on to level 5 University Diploma in Hospitality Management. So this is more for the people who already have level 4 academic qualification, preferably in similar subject area, for example, hospitality, tourism, or business. And then in addition to that, we always expect people to have industry experience between 1 and 2 years, depending on the qualification. And if you already have level 5, for example, level 5 diploma or foundation degree or HND, higher national diploma in the university, in the United Kingdom, and then you can apply to study level 6 qualifications, which we have two at this point. And the first is University Advanced Diploma, UAD, in International Hospitality Business Management. Or you can do BA top-up for International Hospitality Business Management. The main difference between these two programs are, as you can see at the bottom of the program title, UAD, University Advanced Diploma, requires you to complete only 60 credits, which is equivalent to 3 modules. And while to complete the full BA, to have the complete degree, you will need to complete 120 credits, and that could take 1 to 2 years. So both of them require a level 5 academic qualification, but if you have different subject area, for example, you have done something about, for example, history or philosophy or anything else really, but you have good professional experience in the industry and you want to advance your career in this industry, and then you can consider studying UAD, University Advanced Diploma, first. And upon completion of this University Advanced Diploma, you can progress on to BA top-up to have the full degree. Or you can actually aim at enrolling on BA program just for the top-up at the final year level. If you have level 5 academic qualification in the relevant subject area and industry experience. So if you are not quite sure whether your industry experience and academic qualifications are meet those entry criteria, and then please feel free to contact us. You will have the contact details at the end of this presentation. So, having seen the overview, really got a brief outline of each program we offer here online, now I'm moving on to how we deliver and how you will study these programs. So we have 3 starting points, 3 intakes a year. So they are either September, January or May, and each term consists of 10 weeks. So the autumn term starts the end of September and then finish early December. The spring term is from late January until early April, and the summer term is late May to early August. Each module awards you 20 credits on our programs, and that 20 credit means it is designed to require to study approximately 200 hours. That may sound quite hefty, however, these 200 hours also include the time you are just doing reading or finishing off the assessment. So it's from the beginning to the end. Indication of the volume of work is about 200 hours. That means actually, because you need to complete these 200 hours within 10 weeks time period, so expectation is you engage with study on average about 20 hours each week per module. And this is why we usually offer you to complete just 1 module at a time, although what we call the accelerated route is also available if you are confident to handle 2 modules at a time, especially when you do BA top-up. So next I would like to explain the structure and the module kind of subject area on each program. So starting with level 5 University Diploma in Hospitality Business Management, which is equivalent to second year within the UK University, which is 3-year system. So it takes usually 1 year to complete, and then you do 1 module at a time in autumn, spring and summer. So autumn trimester, you will complete the module called the Researching and Reporting, which is about brushing up your research and academic skills. You may not feel this is quite relevant to your career development. However, if you are aiming to have academic qualification, this is something you do need, and this is why we have this module in autumn. And then if you start in spring, you will start with another theoretical module called Hospitality Management Theories and Practice. This is about the module that helps you to link theory and practice, really. And so you have been in the industry and then seeing, customers, and then probably sometimes wondering why you get really good response or the customer feedback, and sometimes the other times really poor feedback, and what's behind it, or why do people like certain products certain time of year, why do we have this, why do we have that, or what can we do to, for example, save money. And then on this module you will go through basics of the relevant theories, mainly about marketing, human resource and finance, and also a little bit of history of the hospitality industry, that sort of thing. And so you will understand the hospitality a little bit deeper, really, not just on the day-to-day business, or from the practical side, but more from the theoretical side, and what's the story behind what we do on a day-to-day basis in the business. And then in the summer module, this is about the professional development for success. This is the module title. And this module focuses on helping you to think about how far you have come so far in your career, and why you are now, and why you want to go in future. So in this module, you will develop some sort of professional portfolio, recording and saving all those, what do I call it, reflections, and your CVs. Part of the requirements is also to ask your colleague or manager and to evaluate your performance, your traits, attributes, and that sort of thing. So it is about the module that makes you think about yourself, but we also employ and link some theoretical concepts about how to develop your career, how to develop yourself professionally. So this program consists of 3 elements. One's complete kind of research academic skills, another one is theories and practice, and how they are actually linked, and another one is about yourself. And hopefully you will develop quite good overview of why you are studying this module, and why and how you can use your knowledge in your day-to-day business, or in your future, in your long-term career. So this is the purpose of this University Diploma Level 5 program. And moving on to level 6, you see slightly more complicated diagrams because there are more modules, especially for BA top-up. So this diagram actually explains 2 programs. One is UAD, University Advanced Diploma, and another one is BA top-up. So when you do UAD, it takes only 1 year. So you just need to look at year 1 row, that says autumn, spring, and summer. So you will do these 3 modules: managing cultural issues in service sector, and strategic hospitality operations management, and leadership and management in context. So the first module, if you start in autumn, if you start in summer, it's going to be second, and if you start in spring, it's going to be the last one, because each module is delivered in specific trimester only. So the managing cultural issues in service sector module requires you think about how people differ in relation to ideas, ethics, behaviors, attitudes, values, and that sort of, depending on the cultural background. And then, as you know, hospitality industry is really that culturally diverse, and the people keep moving across the border. So do customers, obviously. So you will be most likely working with people from different countries or different cultural background, serving customers from different countries or different cultural background. How do we understand each other to keep everyone happy, and then achieve the business goal, i.e. making profit or achieving customer satisfaction? So that's some topic of this managing cultural issues module. And then we also discuss how we can operate hospitality to achieve strategic goals. So this is the spring module, strategic hospitality operations management. And then in summer, we will discuss, or you will discuss more like about the leadership skills and your management skills, your own. It is similar to the level 5 professional development in context. No, sorry, professional development for success module. So this is the module that also requires you to build portfolio about yourself, but also analyze your own leadership skills in relation to the theory you will study on this module. So this is the year you will spend on these three modules, and then you can be achieved UAD, University Advanced Diploma, after completing these 60 credits. Or you can take another year to complete BA honors degree. When you do honors degree, you will have 4 prescribed or core modules and then 2 optional modules. So when you start in autumn, you will do 3 prescribed modules, and then in year 2 you do 2 optional modules complete, and then you complete the program with the one last prescribed or core modules management research project. So let me explain about this management research project module first, because this is core module or prescribed module. So this module is a little bit like dissertation, but it is not as large as standard dissertation, because those dissertations tends to be double module, if not triple. But it is still research project, although it is only 20 credits. So you will need to complete in 10 weeks. And then you will need to, or you can actually, have a freedom to identify the topic you would like to conduct the research on, and then you do reading around it, you do literature review, and then you write up some questions to actually ask to the actual people in the industry or customers, and then you find the answer to your research question. So it is your own research, and ideally you should be using all the knowledge you have learned on this program. This is why we always recommend you to complete this program and in the end. But there is flexibility. This module only. This module runs 3 times a year actually. So depending on the optional modules available, you may want to do this one first so that you can choose the optional modules you really want to study in the end. So there are 4 prescribed or core modules on this program, and then 2 optional modules which you can choose between 2 in each trimester. So now if you look at the right hand side of the screen, and then the autumn optional modules, our strategy in global marketplace. This is about business strategy or financial statement analysis. I have to say, finance is not everyone's cup of tea. However, it is quite important, really. So, at least you need to be able to read the financial statement and then analyze how your business is doing by looking at those numbers. So it can be quite useful, actually. And then if you are choosing optional modules in trimester 2 or spring trimester, and then you have choice between consumer behavior. Again, this is quite important topic in the hospitality, or business psychology. It is more about the workplace psychology rather than consumer psychology. So you just can decide between you want to focus on consumer or you want to focus on workplace, how people act in the workplace. And then if you start in, for example, spring or summer, you can also do optional modules in summer. And the choice is between managing service quality and financial statement analysis. Again, quality management is quite topical and important topic within the hospitality business. So it might be worse, but again, it's as important as finance. So it really depends on what sort of career you are having or you want to have from now on, and what your strengths or interests are. So you have good flexibility, although you can choose only 2 out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 optional modules. And then some of the modules, for example, business psychology or financial statement analysis, are shared with other programs like BSc Business and Management or BSc Accounting and Finance. So you will see a wider variety of students on the module, which can be quite interesting actually. So this is the overview of the level 6. So just to sum up, when you do University Advanced Diploma, you will have just 3 modules, and then when you do BA top-up, you will have 6. And out of those 6, 4 are prescribed or fixed because they are core modules. And then you can choose 2 modules in those trimesters between those 2 available in each term. Okay. And then just to give you a sense of what it looks like when you study our programs. So they are just screenshots from some diagrams from our course resources and also the assessment work actually. So when you study, you are not going to be given a textbook, or we are not going to ask you to buy any textbook. In fact, we have really good library where there are thousands of ebooks available for you. But main kind of lecture elements are done on the course resources. And then each module is divided into units, and each unit has different sections. And then those sections consist of either these diagrams and text, videos, sometimes audio, some interactive activities, so on and so on. And then at the end of each unit, you will have the end of unit activities, where we tend to use discussion board to have some research, and they share your own research findings, your own analysis, and they see what other people are saying, and then keep commenting on each other, learning from each other. Really, that's how you'll be studying. So there isn't timetable to fix lectures, although we do run probably about 3 live sessions per module within 10 weeks. And then you will produce coursework, and then those 2 screenshots on both sides. One says workplace, the other one says introduction. They're actually students' coursework submitted, and then they look nice because we don't really give you much of those traditional essays and reports because they may be useful to develop your academic skills. However, we believe giving you something more practical as coursework task would be more helpful in your career. So the one on the left hand side that says workplace, this is just the extract of a student's work, which is actually group work submitted for the managing cultural issues in the service sector module. This is actually group work, and then they have to create corporate diversity management policy handbook. That's why it says workplace, and then it's using quite diverse people's image. On the right hand side, you will see this is actually portfolio. It is e-portfolio, and then you can see different headings at the top of that screenshot, and then some text, and then you can also insert email. So it is not like paper-based portfolio, it's e-portfolio, which you can actually export and then show it to, for example, your manager, or when you go for the next job interview, which is quite useful for your career as well. So as you can see, it is not about just reading textbook and writing essay, but we do quite wide variety of interactivity and use technology, and then some fun looking and coursework as well. Since I mentioned assessments and coursework, so I'm going to give you an overview of the assessments and how we do. So each module has 2 assessments. Other than probably not professional development, leadership and management in context module, that has only 1 because it's portfolio. I think same applies to professional development for success. But other modules have 2 assessments. And then those weekly activities, as I mentioned, end of unit activities, should help you towards them. So sometimes you do part of it and then save it, and then you review it later before finalizing it. And as I said, there is no course exams or coursework. And coursework's usually labeled, as I should say, CW. So CW1 coursework 1 due usually somewhere between week 5 and 8, depending on the module. And the coursework one, the final one, is always due in the week 11, the week after, or the delivery of the modules completed. We have a quite strict policy on missed deadline. The moment you miss the deadline, which is usually at some point the midnight of specific date, and you submit on the online platform, if you miss it, it's late submission. However, if you have the good reason why you can't submit, for example, you have been ill, or you had some family emergency, or you were asked to relocate within really short period of time, and you just had to focus on your work, and then excuse me, and then there is a system called EEC or LSR, but you will have to go through application. But if you apply for these late submission, and then you will not be penalized, or you will not be graded or marked as late submission. So if you have a good reason, please speak to us before the submission date. And most of the works are individual. Occasionally you have group work, as I explained earlier. But we take assessment in a variety of forms. So there are a small number of reports and essays. You will have to discuss something or critically evaluate something. But we also do the research proposal, and we also do the individual group presentation. At the moment, I don't think we actually do group presentation, but we do group discussion, which is graded as assessment. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there will be policy handbook, and there's also guidance material for new manager, for example, and that type of assessment. And then they are graded against what you see on the right hand side of the page or the slides, those criteria. So we normally describe the quality of work as satisfactory, good, very good, excellent. And if it's unsatisfactory, which is 39% or lower, you will have to resubmit your work. You will have opportunity to resubmit your work, but you can't pass until you resubmit it, and then your work is a satisfactory standard. So I know you are all busy, you are working, you have family, you have other commitment, you still want to study minimum of 20 hours a week on average. You have to plan and manage your time, manage your motivation. It's really important actually to pass the module successfully, and many students on this program do. So you don't have to worry about it, but you just need to do it. And then all these programs are accredited by the Institute of Hospitality, which is a professional body for managers and workers who aspire to be developing a career within the hospitality, leisure and tourism industry. And it is international, although it is UK based, but they are quite active internationally. And then this organization works to unite the professionals and promote best practice, enhance skills, and raise the profile of the industry. In the UK, there is another organization called UK Hospitality. They do more lobbying, so they kind of try to influence the government policy, and then do some research, and collect the evidence and what's happening in the industry, and then speak to MPs and prime ministers. But Institute of Hospitality works with the people within the industry to help you develop your career and your business practice and your success. So we have the professional recognition of online and on campus as well, the programs within the hospitality management subject area. That is the good kind of stamp that the professional believes our programs are good enough for you to develop your career. And then also part of the relationship with the Institute of Hospitality, we also have the membership as an educational institute through this EMS scheme, education membership scheme. And through this scheme, as a University of Derby student, you automatically have the Institute of Hospitality members benefit. So you can access actually IOH online resources like books and journals and some good industry reports. They also provide some professional services like the mentoring and also careers advice and that sort of thing, as well as professional development webinar series. And so having all these, the real professional input alongside with studying, theoretical side of hospitality management should really help you deepen and widen your understanding and skills as a good current or future hospitality manager. Really. So this is why we sign up on this EMS and then provide you with the opportunity to, engage more proactively engage with the industry while you're studying with us. So I think I have explained enough about our hospitality programs within this time frame available. So here is a quote from the past student, what they actually thought. So I give you a bit of minute to read it because it's quite long. So as you can see, this student, he was actually executive chef in international hotel chain. And then coming from European country and then working in Asian country at that point. And he already had 26 years of professional experience and then good career, he's executive chef of the 4-star chain hotel. However, he still wanted to develop himself, so he decided to sign up on the program. And as he said, it's not easy. It wasn't easy for him. However, he was determined. In the end, this particular student had to leave the course because he was given another assignment. While doing the executive chef's job in one country, he was also given another assignment to work as a part of the opening team in neighbor country. So he just couldn't handle the workload, and in the end he left. But at the end he said he will come back when he has the opportunity. So even to the people or to someone who has been in the industry for 26 years with successful career, he felt the course was really challenging and interesting and stimulating. So that's the quote from one of the students. And also we regularly run the survey. If you sign up to this program, I'm sure you will receive at least probably 3 major survey requests in addition to module survey at the end of each module, really. But so those surveys are really important for us because this is, they are the official channel really for you to tell us what you think. And then we work really hard, and then we manage to achieve 100% satisfaction in certain areas. And so 100% of the students agree that course has provided them with opportunities to apply what they have learned. So you can be assured this program actually is helpful for your career. And another 100%, another question, sorry, we've got 100% answer, was staff value students' views and opinions about the course. And now obviously, I do value what you think, because this is a hospitality program for the hospitality professionals. So I don't want to develop something that's useless for your career. So you tell me, once you enroll on this program, how you felt, and then we will do our best to make it even better. And then also all the students also agreed that course is intellectually stimulating. So it is not easy, but it is stimulating and it is interesting, and it's supposed to be reasonably challenging. But you need some challenge to feel rewarded and have a sense of achievement. And then also overall, why should you be studying if you already have good career? It's because hospitality degree equips you with good skills, analytical skills about the business, and also at the strategic level, not like on the floor level on the day-to-day operation, but you will be able to scan the environment, what's happening in the competitors, what's happening in the government, and how we can link what we do from the external force, and then how we can plan like 3 years, 5 years, or even longer. That's a strategic level thinking. And then this is the focus really at level 6 study. And then also, obviously, you have to work hard to pass all the modules, and work with your colleagues or ask questions to the tutors, and then write or the create and those coursework. So without realizing, quite often you are developing range of good soft skills like communication, self-management, problem solving, organization skills, and more really. And then obviously we are going through really challenging time in the last nearly 2 years, unfortunately. And then we haven't seen the end yet. This COVID pandemic, um, and then the graph on the right hand side shows key future workforce skills related to the pandemic. What sort of knowledge and skills would be useful within the hospitality industry? I think this was done by one of those major consulting company, like Price Waterhouse Cooper or somewhere. But there are some practical knowledge about pandemic, like social distancing and health and safety, but also some skills like dealing with out of ordinary situations or conveying information effectively, and digital skills, coordination skills, remote working, such and such. So there are almost like wave of new type of skills and knowledge, and that has become increasingly more important than, let's say, 5-10 years ago, really. And then by studying this and then by giving deeper and more analytical thoughts on what's happening in the industry, in relation to theoretical framework, or even create a new theoretical framework, and then you can develop really and higher skills and knowledge as well, and then that will help you in long term your career. And then another thing I would like to note is that on this program, 50 to 75% of the students, we usually have somewhere around 50 to 60 students on the program, and then at least half of the people live outside the UK. This is UK universities, but people tend to live outside the UK. And even those people who work within the UK and then studying from the UK, they tend not to be British. So it's really diverse. And then you have the global community, and then everyone has the hospitality background. So I always say, by studying this module and then interacting with other your colleagues on each module, and then you will develop a global professional hospitality network, which is great really. And so you can actually contact them and then ask them questions. So what is it like to work in your country, that sort of thing. So this is quite rewarding actually. And then, as I said, by studying hospitality management, you will have your career development really, because you will develop your skills and knowledge. So obviously, you can progress your career upon completion of your study, and so you can be promoted to senior management or general managers, director of corporate, that sort of thing. And then many students have this sort of promotion, especially when you complete the BA top-up. Or some students have gained enough confidence to start up your own business within the sector. And also, even when you are not having the promotion in relation to almost like corporate ladder, but the having degree especially, or academic qualification, will give you a chance to go and work in other countries, because some countries actually requires a degree to be approved a visa and to work at the management position, especially as far as I know some Asian and Middle Eastern countries, really. Or you have opportunity to progress further in your study. So if you do university diploma, university advanced diploma, you can aim to complete BA top-up. If you complete BA, and we also do offer online MBA or MSc. At the moment, we do not have hospitality specific MBA or MSc. However, we are in discussion, and so you may have something by the time you complete your study. And when you progress internally within University of Derby, I don't, come into Derby to study on campus or progress just online. And then you get alumni discount for the fee. And then you know the system, you know academic regulation, you know the quality standard we do have. So it makes sense actually to progress, within Derby rather than going elsewhere. And or occasionally when you complete a degree, especially, and some people go change the career, but it is in kind of similar subject area, still hospitality or tourism, but they move on to teaching or training position rather than working on the floor or the managing the actual operation. And some people can secure the job in consultancy firm as well. So yes, you probably will start this program thinking about enhancing your career, but you can also consider transforming your future career as well by having progression or changing the country or going more scholarly routes, or just changing the career to relevant but slightly different career path. So it really enhances your possibility of your future. Sorry, this is wrong one. Okay, and then everything happens online, so you will have your cloud campus, and then you will have good network of the people and system, obviously. So here is the list of some advice or hints and tips really from me to you to succeed in your study when you study online. And so I always suggest you create some sort of space of study, just a small laptop table at the corner of the kitchen or something. And then rather than, you will have to kind of clear up your dining table and then have children running around behind you, or, dog pestering you to take out whatever. And then ideally somewhere a bit quiet, like your bedroom or, even dining room, and then where there is always a computer or laptop or the tablet or anything with a pen and paper if you need, and that sort of thing. So, create a space you can sit, and then, okay, when I sit here, this is my study time, even just for 20 minutes, really. And then you try to protect around 20 hours per week for study. And then, but again, there is a good flexibility. We won't be watching you for 20 hours a week. You can have just a few hours one week, and then book a time off in the following week or towards the assessment submission date. Many students do so, and then that's fine. Or you don't really touch anything on your work day, or just minimum you do just go through the unit materials, but you secure a good half a day at least, or if not all day, on your day off to focus on your study. So you will have to have good timetable really, and then regularly engage and interact with peers and academics. Exchange the idea, show off your findings of your readings, and ask questions, and let us know if you are having any problems, or if you feel you might have problems soon because of your workplace situation or anything. There is always some sort of support available, unless you leave it to the last minute. So please speak to us and regularly engage with study as well as the tutor. And then in similar manner, you also need to check the learning portal and course resources, your student email address. You will have the student email address, what we call the Unimail. And please do check those emails and announcements, updates, any additional resources available. And then don't leave the assignments, don't leave coursework to the last minute, and organize yourself. There is also a range of good resources available free and outside university, and these three logos I have put on the screen: eHotelier, Big Hospitality, and Hospitality Net. You can just do a quick internet search and you can easily find them. They are the website that hosts good industry news, up-to-date news, and some opinions, some analysis, and industry practice, best practice, worst practice, all those things we can learn from. And then they also do the weekly newsletter type of thing. So it's probably yeah, worth subscribing. And then also Institute of Hospitality Resources, as I explained in the previous slide, EMS is worth using. And then, as I say, you have good global hospitality professional community. And then there is plenty of opportunity to speak to each other. And as I said, we tend to use discussion forum for learning activities on each module. And we also set up some FAQ forum. And so if you have any questions, rather than sending email to the tutor and then wait for a few days to get the response, you can just post it on the FAQ threads. We normally respond within 24 hours, maximum 3 days, really. You also can interact with the others in the cafe forum. We usually ask students to introduce yourself at the beginning of the module so that you can see what other people are studying and with what sort of background there. So it's a good opportunity to get to know each other and then share your experience and thoughts and any research findings or ask questions. And of course you can email your tutor, university about the, for example, enrollment payment and that sort of thing. If you like to share more personal or confidential matters, for example, you're having a bit of problem at work and then you may not be able to progress with study and that sort of thing. And then of course email is always welcome. We usually respond within 2 working days. And I briefly mentioned earlier, we do usually about 3 live sessions per modules, and also drop-in sessions in addition. And then we use a platform called the Blackboard Collaborate. It is a little bit like webinar, but it can be more interactive because you can ask the question using the microphone or chat functions. Quite often these live sessions are spent to provide you with the assessment support. And then each session will be recorded because there are always some people who can't attend because of your work, because of your time zone, because of your private other commitments. But you don't have to worry about it, and you can just go through the recording later and ask questions on FAQ forum if you have any questions. And then obviously if you prefer more face-to-face conversations or live conversations, we can call us or we can arrange virtual meetings on Microsoft Teams platform. So there is plenty of opportunity to interact. Because it's online program, it's also easy to hide behind the computer screen, but I don't suggest you do that because there are many social learning opportunities, as we call. And the more you interact, the more you learn, and the easier you will feel to study this program and achieve good grades. So, same in the hospitality industry, communication is quite important. And as I said, we're always here to help you. And so me, as a program lead, I'm here to help you with academic matters. And then we also have the range of module tutors and module leaders for the module level support, obviously. I also tutor some of the modules. And for non-academic side, we also have the team of online learning advisors. So about enrollment and payment of the fees, and if you need to take a break from study for a bit, and then they can also help you with the process. We also do have kind of group of student services team. So if you have any well-being matter, for example mental health, or if you have some sort of disabilities that actually affects your study, and then student well-being team will help you. And obviously you have library. We also do have careers department, and then once you sign up to the university's program, you are part of the student union as well. So you are part of university. And in terms of technological resources, you also have the free access to the full Microsoft Office 365. So you have Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can also create online survey using Microsoft Forms. You can also create some sort of digital material using Sway, all those things. And then OneDrive, most importantly, cloud storage, with 1 terabyte of the storage space. So and it can be quite expensive if you try to get everything on your own. pay money to Microsoft, and you get all these things. So it should really help you feel a bit easier to complete your study. And then student portal, virtual learning environments. Those places are available obviously 24/7, so it doesn't matter when, what time of the day it is. As long as you are ready to study, you can study. And more importantly, I'm here to help you, and my colleagues are there to help you too. So if you have any questions, if you are in difficulties, please get in touch. As I say, communication is important. So I think this is just the last important bits about your entitlement or the resources you can use. Library. Obviously in the university study, library is extremely important unless you are ready to buy every single book by yourself, which can be quite costly. So we have online reading list, although on hospitality program, reading of the textbook isn't that important. It is probably more important to understand the basics of the theory, but also catch up with what's happening with the industry on a day-to-day basis. And then why people are doing, why some businesses are doing better than the others. So catching up with all those industry news, and also latest industry research, which is available in those research journals in the library, is quite crucial. And then we also do have a library service. You can actually contact the library and say, well, I'm looking for the information about such and such, or the theories about such and such, which book do you recommend? We have the subject librarians who can help with those things. And also the library team delivers quite a few actually live sessions to help you make full use of the services that can be offered. And so early stage of each trimester, there is some session about how to use the library, which is really basic, really. But you need to know, otherwise you can't find books and journal articles you're looking for. Yeah, so and then there is also some session about your study skills and how to do, for example, critical analysis, how to do academic research, how to make references in the correct Harvard system, which is quite important actually, and that sort of thing. So please bookmark the library website and visit there regularly, and then see what's available and use them, because it's part of your fees you are paying. So you have resources, you have support, you have yourself, your motivation, your skills, your interest, and everything, and then you spend usually between 12 to 24 months with us, and you graduate, and you will be invited to the award ceremony in Derby actually. Not on the university campus, but we hire large venue to do the award ceremony, and this is quite often the first time we meet each other in person, and you meet your other students, your classmates, for the first time, and you will be seated, and you will nicely dressed and gowned, and you'll be seated, and you come up on the stage, and then get the certificate. You shake the hand with the vice chancellor, and I'll be there watching you celebrating. And then many people actually travel with their family to Derby, and as you can see on the picture, many students, actually mature students, and they even have children or even grandchildren, so quite often we have big family visiting and celebrating. It's the best, really good day, one of the best days in your life. In my career as well, it's always rewarding to see everyone celebrating, and then I will hope to meet you there one day in Derby. So this is the end of my presentation. So I'd like to leave you knowing what you can do next. So next step will be to check the website to see entry criteria. For hospitality programs, you will have to have academic qualification and professional experience, really. If you have any question about as to what professional experience means, and then please feel free to contact me or contact the admission team. We will be able to help you with the information. And the fees is quite always important, and how you can pay. There are different payment plans. And then when's the next intakes? is. And as I say, we have 3 intakes a year, so you can actually start application now, but not for the immediate intakes, but one after. That's fine. You just need to indicate when you want to start. And all the information can be found from our website, which is derby.ac.uk/online. Or if you would like to contact us directly, and here is our contact details. So general inquiry number is country number 44, and it's Derby code 01332 594,000. You can also email us for Udo inquiries at derby.co.uk. Not many people write a letter to us nowadays, but if you feel like it, please feel free to do so. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or our team. Otherwise, I look forward to meet you one day virtually and also in the award ceremony. Thank you.